Welcome to another edition of All Ball Chicago. I'm your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed, and I got the legend, the NBA veteran, the McDonald All-American, your host, Marcus, living in the building. What's up, Marcus?
What's up, my beautiful people?
And we got a special guest in here, a point guard from Chicago, Leo High School, went on to Northern to do his thing, worked hard. He got to the league and played for Toronto. Give it up for the point guard, Donald Whiteside. What's up with it, man?
What's happening, man? I'm glad to finally be a part of this, man. I've been checking you guys out, man. You guys do a great job.
Man, appreciate you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah,
you see,
man.
I slipped in that point guard.
Point guard.
No,
point guard. Man, D-side, man. We've been trying, man, to get past present guys on All Ball Chicago, and we were gonna get you on, man. It's just a matter of time. We try to mix it up, try to get suburbans, we try to get some Catholic League guys, we try to get some city public schools, on. And we had to get you on, man, because your journey was different from a lot of guys, that came up. Well, no, I wouldn't even say different. It's probably a lot similarities than because Chicago has a lot of guys that grind their way up to where they need to go, that grit, they keep pushing, never giving up. So you know how we always start. If you listen to the show, we always say, who puts the rock in your hand? Who put that rock in your hand? Who put the rock in the side hand?
Man, that's crazy, man. Up until like fifth grade, I didn't even care for basketball. I was a football and baseball fanatic. And that's the truth of it. And then two guys that went to grammar school with me, they were actually playing basketball, and they were interested in watching me. They saw me dribbling the ball in gym class and said, "Man, you should try out for the team." And I was like, "No, I don't really want to. I hate basketball." And they were like, "Just come out for the team." And I was like, "No, that's all right." And their name's Corey Walden and a guy named John Hamilton. Two of my real good friends to this day. They went on the Leo with me and everything. But something else happened, and I finally got convinced to go to the trial a day late. And I walked. They took me straight up to the coach, a guy named Wayne Brody. And Wayne said, "I'm sorry, son, but trials are over." And I said, "Okay." I was about to walk away, and he said, "Well, just go get dressed, and we'll work you out and see how you do." And I said, "Okay." And the first thing they did was put me on the second team, put us in the 2-3 zone, and they told us to play defense, and I had no idea. And all they were doing was trying to pass the ball to the wing and back to the top of the key. And I looked at the other guard and I said, "Hey, man, can we steal the ball?" And he said, "Yeah." So to shorten the story, I stole the ball about 5 or 6 times, ran down, laid it up, and the coach gave me a ride home from then on. And it was history after that.
Wow. Hey, look like we have another special guest on here joining us.
We got.
That's my brother-in-law, Sean Smith, Mendel grad and U of I grad.
Okay.
How y'all doing, brothers?
What's up, Sean Smith? I went to Mendel for a short stint. I had 1 year there before they kicked me up out that joint. But I had a couple academic issues there, but it was love though, man. I was there 82, man, full scholarship, man. I love Mendel. What year was you there?
84 to 88.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the last class to come out.
Right, they shut us down, man.
So we have another special guest on, man. And for those who don't know, he has a son who played at UCLA, who's, by the way, from Chicago, but they uprooted and moved to Texas, then Nevada, and he played at UCLA. Donald was mentioning off the air to us that he was a guard. He was tall. He played point guard, and his skills are tight. I watched him play at UCLA. Since we got You on and Donald. Donald, won't y'all share a little bit? Let our listeners know about your nephew and your son. Tell our listeners a little bit about Big Fella.
You go ahead, Don.
Okay. Basically, when they were little, my son and Chris were probably about. They probably was a difference between a few inches. So all of them learned guard skills. They learned tight ball handling skills. They learned defense. They learned passing. They learned to create, penetrate, and create for other people. They learned to shoot. But over the years, Chris started to grow, and it seemed like he never stopped. And by the time I was coaching him in a little travel team, nothing big, but a little travel team. And before I knew it, he was playing point guard at 6'5" as a freshman in high school. So, he's a year younger than my son. So he would play pretty much with my son and play alongside my son, but he would also play at the lower level team, and he'd be the man. So his roles were different. So he knows how to play that fit-in role, but he knows how to take over as well. So, make a long story short, he continued to grow. The hounds started calling, started coming, and he went on to prosper and play for a more elite summer travel teams. And I actually ended up going to a prep school, right, Sean?
Went to Huntington Prep his last year. He just had to get out of Country Day because it's private school with not much competition, and he wanted some more competition. So we looked at Huntington Prep or a couple other schools I won't name here, but
Right.
My wife was set on Huntington Prep because of the academics. The other schools were all online academics, and they couldn't say if they were accredited or not. And, my wife wasn't having that. So,
Right.
And then we met a family in Huntington Prep that we're still very close to this day. And they're like his mom and dad away. They have a couple of sons that play basketball. So it was a perfect match. So he went to Huntington Prep for a year. We planned to go 2 years, but he learned after his first year that he would have to do post-grad. And when he was told that, he called me and I was at work. And he said, Dad, I would have to do post-grad. I said, okay, what's your point? He said, I might as well go to college for that. The players there are the same age as college. I might as well go to college. It's your decision, son. And he said, I'm going to college. And I said, we got to do these 5 visits real quick. He said, okay, set them up. And unfortunately, we went to UCLA first. We were supposed to go to North Carolina the next weekend. He left UCLA, landed back in town, was like, there's no need for me to do anything else. I'm going to UCLA. So I tried to hold him off a little bit, like, let's go to North Carolina, a couple other schools, because Kansas had backed out because they got a kid that they thought would be a better fit for them than Chris. And so a couple other schools pulled out. Illinois never came. Michigan came, but they lost their coach to University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, because he was either going to go to Kansas or Michigan. But Michigan pulled out, and then when that Kansas pulled out, and when the coach pulled out and got another job that was recruiting him from Michigan pulled out, never heard from them again. So he went to UCLA.
Wow. For those that's listening, Chris Smith is at UCLA, and now he's actually put his name into the draft. So big ups to him, man. I saw him play a lot, because of you guys, sending me and telling me a lot about, Chris, and I watched him and followed him a lot. He's grew, he did a lot of great things. I always tell players the first year of college is your figuring out, and then next year is your coming out party, and he did just that. I mean, Sean, me and you just talk, through text messages about, telling him to keep his head up, and when he was under with Steve Alford, and we saw the situation, and you can tell that he wasn't playing his game. And then when that new coach came, and it just seems like everything fell into place. He's the man. He's getting the ball. He's getting his touches. He's getting his minutes. He's not getting yanked every time he makes a decision. And that's what I want to tell a lot of our listeners. make sure you pick the right school and the coach, because sometimes we pick the school and then we get there and the coach is not the same as he was when he was recruiting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't you
Absolutely.
don't you agree with that, Donald, a little bit?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
That's
now that switch back over to Donald Whiteside side now. So what you were doing, hooping at Leo High School, doing your thing on the South Side in the Catholic League, became one of the best point guards in the Catholic League. And I remember us coming over there playing you guys because Cox wasn't. He was one of those guys that say, "Man, you know what? Leo is getting all this noise over there, and everybody's liking Leo. Let's go play Leo." You guys got a squad. You got Randy Dawes, uh, who
Chris
was
Henderson,
up? Chris Henderson, man.
uh,
Tyrone
Arnold, Tyrone Dow.
Arnold. Yes, man. Y'all had a squad, man.
Mhm.
So I like playing against, and I think we came to y'all place, did we?
Yeah, everybody came to play in the Cracker Box.
Yeah. But Leo was one of those Catholic schools, man, was pretty much a public school to me. You guys are all, interchangeable type players. But you were the one that spearheaded that. You were the point guard. So let's talk a little bit about so our listeners can understand what is the point guard duties really. So think about this, Donald. When you got there, you had all that talent. How could you put all that talent together and have everybody operating together on that basketball court?
Well, fortunately for me, I played all my levels in high school. I played for a coach that was a point guard, and Jack Fitzgerald was a point guard. That knew what a point guard was capable of, and I followed the lead of Tyrone Dow and Bob Anthony and those guys that played before me, and I just tried to incorporate the strengths and things that they had in their game into mine because I was just learning on the fly. I didn't know what it took to be a point guard. When I played in grammar school, we just pushed the ball and tried to get as many layups as we could, and we pressured and tried to make people turn the ball over. But when I got to Leo, that's where I learned how to slow the game down, facilitate, get people in the right places, be a floor general, create for others. And then when my time came, take the big shot, make the big free throws down the stretch, close out the game. So I was fortunate to play for, guys that were point guards to show me how to be a point guard.
Can I hop in real quick, Lib?
Go ahead.
So yeah, Donald, you came out in 87.
That's right.
So back then, the Catholic League was as tough as the public league because you had Mendel, you had Mark Carmel, you had Hales. So anybody could get it back then, right?
That's right. You had Reader, you had DeSales. Everybody was tough.
Everybody was tough.
It wasn't no easy nights. And nowadays, maybe, Brother Rice was tough because you weren't going to get any calls. So you had to be.
Who they had? Big Dominique over there back then, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you had to go out to the sales. They had Eric Anderson, Edgar Ward, Donald Akins. It was tough.
It was loaded. Yeah. I told Liv I went to Mendel, man, on a scholarship like I said in the beginning, but I could have went to Mark Carmel. I had a scholarship for both. So that's just how that was back in the day. If you went to Catholic school, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was going. Because remember your boy Deion Butler went there.
Right.
He went to Mendel first.
I sat back as a young freshman and sophomore, and I watched guys like Spoon. I watched guys like Richie Johnson. I watched those guys, Tyrone Dow. I watched those guys, the Niego brothers and the point guards over at De La Salle.
What about Mark Dunn, right?
That's right. And how those guys facilitated and ran the court and ran the game and controlled the big man. And those big men respected them. And I soon earned that respect from the players at Leo.
Yeah.
Y'all forgetting Antoine Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Over at Mount Carmel.
That's right.
It was amazing though, Liv, during y'all era. Y'all had a lot of bigs, man.
But see, when I was at Leo, Antoine wasn't there yet, but James Farr was there. That's another great player.
Right, James Farr was tough. Yes, he was.
It was loaded. Yeah. And usually we would play in the playoffs. First team we play is Joe Griffin and Ray Thompson and those guys.
At Argo.
That's right. We got knocked out both years. Both years we went 27-3. Both years we got knocked out by St. Joe's, who had Tony Freeman and Brian Molis. Sco Hayes, you know what I mean? It was just loaded, man.
Yeah,
Daryl Cunningham, all of those guys.
that's real.
All ball Chicago, baby.
Anybody could get it back then, though, from anywhere.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, and I've been meaning to tell people this, man. One of the toughest guys I played against, man, ever. And people ask me, you know, you played against Iverson and all that, but I put this guy up there, man, that nobody hardly knows about. His name was Mark Edwards. He played at Mendel.
Mark Edwards.
He's about 6'2". He's about 6'2", 6'3", could shoot the lights out, was athletic, could handle the ball, dribble through people's legs. He could clown people, but nobody ever knew about him.
What year was that?
To this day, he's living in California. He can still ball. He probably about twice the weight he was. He could still do the same type of stuff.
Wow.
That was back in when? 87?
87, man. 83 through 87, man. It was ridiculous, man.
Man, Mendel was a party. Mendel was a party school, though.
Man,
too.
You better say it. You better say it, boy. We had the best parties, boy.
Yes, it was.
Hey,
We
hey,
been to a couple of parties at Leo, but never on Mendel's level.
oh, man, boy.
Right.
And we had the best little concerts, man. So
Yeah.
Liam got on me about that. Him and rest his peace, our brother who passed away, Steve Hudson.
Right.
He used to bust my chops to Liam like, oh, Reed, don't never talk about Mendel. He was a Mendel first. It was a great experience, man. Great experience.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you have guys traveling all over to go to one of those parties, Mendel parties, man.
Mm-hmm.
But so Donald, now let's go back to Chris now. Let's talk about Chris. So I know you guys were, Chris was born in Chicago. And let's just put it out there. Like, what high school would he have gone to if he'd have stayed in Chicago?
That's
Probably because again, my wife is big on education, so am I. But she's an educator, and we were living out in Alsop, so it would probably been Marist or Brother Rice or something like that. So
I wouldn't have been Brother Rice. It
well, I guess his uncle would have been driving him to wherever school he would have gone.
Bob thought you were gonna say Simeon.
Well, Notre trained him, so I'm sure Notre would probably had a vote up in that. But he didn't get really a lot of recognition until he turned like, what you think, Don, like 14 or something like that when he shot up in height.
When he shot up.
Yeah, because was it in his 7th grade year? He was 13. His brother was 17, and they were at the end of the driveway, and Jalen was a 1/4 inch taller than Chris. That was in August, and Chris was 5'10" and Jay was 5'10 1/4. That March, Chris was 6'5". So 8 months later, he was 6'5". Wow. I mean, it was literally overnight, and that's when all the recognition starting to come. Okay. And then
Rib,
people
I can
showing
tell
up
you
to
about the first time you heard about him.
Yeah.
First time you heard about him, Low and Byron Irvin was at one of our tournaments, and Chris was actually playing with the younger team and breaking the press off the dribble at 6'5". They was like, man, who is this? And they said, where's his parents at? And they went over and found Sean.
Yeah. That was the first time. Lowe actually called me, my buddy Lawrence, man, out of Dallas. He called me. He said, man, it's a kid, man, remind me so much of you, man. He handling that ball, man. He going coast to coast. And I'm like, who is he? He said, man, you know Donald Weiss? I said, yeah, I know him. He said, man, I got him right here. And Donald jumped on the phone, and we just started talking. And I said, man, I didn't know you had a nephew that hoop. And then Sean had hit me, 2 at the same time. And we just started talking and just, having good conversations, man, about, the recruiting and all that stuff, man. And it was good, man, just to see how that young man grew into something real special, and that's a big, shout out to both of you guys and his mom, because I know he's probably going to be on track to graduate because mom's not going to play that. You know, I know his name is in the
Oh.
draft and he's going to do that, but I'm pretty sure he's going to go back. Or if he probably already finished.
He's got to go like 3 or 4 more classes, but he's definitely on track. But
Yeah.
I know when all that stuff started to happen, and I kept hearing, he reminded me of Marcus Liberty. I'm like, whoa, slow down, slow down. I was at U when Marcus Liberty was there. Slow down, slow down. And I've seen him play up close and personal at MP, so don't put that on my son. And that's what I reached out to.
I said, he may not have the killer Marcus had right now, but he got some of the stuff.
Okay. Man, that's
I
what's
wasn't
up.
hearing none of that. I was slow down. It was either Marcus Liberty or Katie, and I was like, whatever. His name is Christian. Y'all call him.
That's right. That's right. And he has a wonderful, beautiful game, man. Real smooth, Bob. So when you get a chance to check him out, Bob.
Is he still out there?
What do you mean?
Is he still out there in Cali right now?
Oh yeah. They can't move a lot with the COVID stuff. I was trying to get him and his brother to at least come to Vegas, so he can be with mom and I, and we don't have to worry about them traveling for food and stuff. And him and his brother like, no, we good. We gonna stay where we at. Y'all old. We don't want to worry about y'all. Like, wait a minute, when did I get old? But we talked to him last night, and so right now it's just a matter of him finishing. I think he's not in the class right now, so it's just him working out and eating and that sort of stuff. So
I'm gonna give you my son's information so they can look each other up, man. My boys out there, I got 2 sons out there. They playing ball out there too. They Chicago kids. They should know each other, right?
Yeah,
right.
They should. But some people in Texas kind of upset that Chris put on his bio that he's from Chicago.
He's from. That's where he's from.
That's why I told him. I told him, you have a problem with it, come see me. Don't come to him. Come see me.
Right. That's right.
That's right. But that's where he was born. That's where he's bred. He went back and played in the down the Cracker Box. He went back and played there.
Went back to Leo and Tops lined up some players, man. Luther Tops lined up some players from Leo, man, and they whooped on our young guys a little bit and got them straight, but they was out there holding their own.
That's what's up.
Yeah, after 2 games.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Them boys pros, man. Them college boys, man. They play a different level nowadays, though. I mean, the pace, and then your son's 6'10". He's shooting a 3 ball too.
Man, everything, Bob. Everything. He got the total package.
I'm gonna watch this video when we get off of here. 16.
Do it, man.
I can send you they put together a 14-minute highlight reel because people send me stuff like, have you seen this? Like, well, he is my son. Yeah, I've seen it, but you can put it together and send it to me. So I'll send it to you, Liv, so you can have it before it on.
All right, yeah, definitely. Now, let's go back to Donald now. Donald, how did you go to Northern Illinois? You got DePaul, you got the University of Illinois, you got UIC, and you go to Northern Illinois. I always get mad at players, not you in particular. I'm talking about people that don't get recruited to stay home. It's like, I know Northern is not that far from, Chicago, but I don't know. How did you make that decision? Or was they not even recruiting you?
They weren't recruiting me. That's the first thing. But I don't know if you remember, probably about the summer of '86, we was playing you guys in the Adidas Summer League.
Yep.
It was you, Johnny Selvey, Emmy Lynch, and Jamie Brandon. All you guys. And you had a fast break, and I tried to take a charge, and you pretty much jumped over my head and finger rolled it. I say that to say I was only 5'6". So yeah, a lot of people weren't looking at me. Of course, my junior year, I played behind Bob Anthony, and I was like the 6th man on the team of Randy Dawson, Chris Henderson, and all those guys. But I just played my role, and I wasn't real aggressive. Like I said, I was a facilitator, a floor general. I did what I was supposed to do, and when it came to my senior year, we were successful, so that attracted the attention of a lot of people. I was also being recruited by Loyola Marymount, and I was all set to go out there, but I didn't like planes. So I never got to visit Loyola Marymount. and they took Terry Mister. I don't know if you remember that. Terry Mister.
Yeah, St.
Yeah,
Joe's.
Terry Mister. And he went out there and played with Bo Kimball and all those guys, And I got recruited by, Robert Collins, he used to be the coach at Robeson.
Okay.
And I probably was maybe the fifth or sixth option. And all the other guys went big places. Like they recruited Mel Bond, he went to DePaul. They recruited, a couple other guys, they went other places. But they recruited six of us, me, Stacey Arrington, Donnell Thomas, Antoine Harmon, Joe, oh my God, I'm forgetting Joe's name. A kid named Joe from Joliet.
Okay.
And they already had a kid there named Andrew Wells from Von Steuben.
I remember him, lefty, right?
Yeah.
Is he lefty?
So yeah, we all went there. I don't know how Stacey got there because Stacey was being recruited by everybody. Stacey Arrington. Stacey Arrington was 6'2", and he was doing stuff that I didn't see other people doing until like the 90s. Seriously. I mean, people talk about this guy and that guy. I said, man, Stacey Arrington was the truth. He was 6'2", built like a college player already, 40-inch verticals, could shoot out the gym.
Yeah, I remember Stacey. I remember him.
It was nothing he couldn't do. And he and I ended up starting at the guards together. And then later on, we were joined by like Bobby Smith from Rich Central, Brian Molis came back there. But they just welcomed me. And they acted like they wanted me. And my coach, Jack Fitzgerald, was like, I know these guys out at Northern Illinois University, Jim Rossborough, Robert Collins, they're good guys. Those guys out of Loyola Marymount, I'm not real familiar with them. So I said, well, coach, that's why I want to go there.
Right.
The coach drove out personally, took me there for a visit, and I loved it. I loved it. They gave me keys to the gym. That was the kicker right there. I was a gym rat.
Man, that's it right there.
I was a gym rat, So that was it. And then they had a rec center that stayed over to like 11:30 at night that I could play ball anytime I wanted to. I had never had anything like that. I grew up playing in the parks and in the playgrounds and all that. Lindblom Park and Ogden Park and Gage Park. That's where I grew up playing. Playing in gyms was like foreign to me.
But that was to all of us in the 80s. Yeah. None of us had a gym, it seemed like.
Yeah, that concrete.
I traveled around Chicago. Back then you could. Traveling around Chicago, playing in different parks, playing against different competition. My boy Rusty Kendall Hudson from Hales. I had another kid named Teron Belmont, from around the neighborhood. I had my younger cousin who played ball at Leo named Marcus Whiteside. We just go around different parks and play. And then when I got on the college scene, I started playing those parks, but I wanted to play on the big stage, like at IIT and Kennedy King, and it was just hard. First time I went up to Shelley, he was like, "Who are you?"
Wow.
Like, I'm Donald. I play at Northern. He's like, "Well, you can't play here." I was like, "Okay."
He actually said that?
Yeah. And then I went back to school. We had a good year, a decent year. And the next year I was sitting in the crowd at Kennedy King. And you're gonna laugh at this. I was sitting at the crowd at Kennedy King watching guys play, Tim Hardaway and all that, and Rick Pryor.
Rick Pryor, my man.
Walking down the sideline. I was sitting with my boy Chuck Neely, and Rick Pryor looked over and said, "Donald Whiteside?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "What you doing?" I was like, "I'm watching." He's like, "You want to play?" I was like, "No, man, I ain't got no gym shoes or nothing." He was like, "Man, you sure you don't want to play?" And my boy Chuck was like, "Man, go on and play." And I played my first Pro-Am Summer League game in some cargo shorts and some K-Swiss. For Playboy.
Wow.
And all you guys was on the roster, man, but the only person that was there was Chris Harris and Terry Cummins.
Wow.
I love both of them today, man. I love both of them today. They gave me
K-Swiss dog.
They gave me a Playboy jersey. I played it with K-Swiss. I had a good game.
So everybody had that dude in their neighborhood, and I'm talking about guys that probably didn't go on to play high school or college, Who was that dude in you guys' neighborhood that had that and you thought about it. He's like, man, you could have made it, dude, but they just didn't go down that path. Who was that guy in your neighborhood, Don?
Well, there was a couple of them, man. Bruce Oliver.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember Bruce Oliver. He played at Harper. Had a dude, we called him Slooby. He was a Jordan fanatic. He played with his tongue hanging out. We had a dude named Odessa, who was like, he was just a street guy. Had the curl going back, the juicy curl, swinging it everywhere. Business. Man, there was a guy named Eric Stevens that was around there. Man, it was funny, man. I grew up and then I started venturing off the parks and I ran into the Butlers and the Full of Loves. And I ran into, man, all sorts of people, man. It was crazy. Played against Stephon Butler, Dion Butler, Cody Butler, Full of Love,
the Butler boys.
Dulo. It was, man, it was everywhere, man. The ball was everywhere. It was just a love for it, man. It was, but everybody told me, man, to actually get respect, you got to go out to the West Side.
Yep.
You got to go out to the West Side.
And you did it.
For me, I had two aunties that worked in park districts. One of my aunties worked at BBR, Better Boys Recreation, something on the West Side. So I would go over there to day camp and I just practice in the gym when we weren't doing anything, in the camp, And it was crazy because the West Side is just a different monster over there. I was shooting around and one guy came in and he wanted to play one-on-one. So I played one-on-one with him. And before I could finish the game, it was 10 guys lined up in the doorway trying to play me next. I'm talking about 40-year-old men.
Damn.
This is ridiculous.
Man.
I got to play in the summer league. I started getting a little respect. Then I started going over to the Claire courts. Guys like Handy Johnson let me play, and June, and all those guys, man. Carl Harris.
Yep.
People always bring up the thing between me and Carl Harris, but Carl Harris actually let me play with him and Tony McCoy and those guys one year because nobody else would.
Right.
And me and Carl are really good, really cool. You know what I mean? But everybody think we're enemies because we played against each other at the summer league and he was a guard killer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Carl is a really cool dude, man, and we get along just fine, man. Away from all that other crazy stuff.
Right. Well, you know how that is, though, Donald. That's how people. That's what they want. They want that controversy. They want people to go at each other. They want people to say bad things about each other. And that's one thing why me and Robert started this All Ball Chicago. We ain't trying to go at nobody. Like we want.
But everybody know Carl Harris go at everybody now.
Yeah, but we gonna
Carl Harris gonna run it right.
We actually gonna have Carl come on the show too, and talk, of course. And we know he gonna do his thing, of course. But it was a summer league game that you guys played against each other, and I think you did pretty good against them. And that's what people talking about when they say, but at the same time, Carl was getting older. We could just say it, and Carl was, the point guard at Simeon back in the day, and he was doing his thing. Carl, he was real smooth with it. He wasn't real flashy, but he would always back the little small guards down and try to shoot right over them. So that was his game, and he did it good. But that's what you're talking about. I know that's what you're talking about when people try to start and stir stuff up like, man, Donald killed Carl and and this and that and you was trying to go somewhere. So just imagine somebody in your way and you trying to get somewhere. Am I supposed to take it easy on you? It doesn't work like that. You were trying to get them. Sko was on our show, man, the other day, and he mentioned something, and he said that Toronto Raptors were coming to look at him at one of the pro-ams, right, Bob?
Yeah.
And he didn't show up, and they actually got a chance to see you. Is that story true?
Well, they were there, and they were actually, and he doesn't get enough credit. Willie Scott approached me when he was trying to be an agent, and I had, been overseas and traveled a little bit. And I said, I'm not really signing with anybody unless someone puts some concrete on the table. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring somebody to see you. And sure enough, one of the biggest games, in the summer league against Sco Hayes and those guys, Larry Thomas showed up, and he because Willie and Zeke were cool, but Larry Thomas showed up. I didn't know. I was just playing against Randy Brown, Sco Hayes, Woodrow Elam, all those guys, man. I mean, Brian Houston, who always played pretty good, tough defense on me. Phil Styles, all of those guys, man. They would all be ready for me. You know what I'm saying? And I knew I had to bring my A game. But fortunately for me that year, I had a great supporting cast. Joel Bullock, Paul McPherson, TJ Lux from Northern, Big Dan Kraft from what's called. So we just played well together. We played really well together. And we just played, it was our day,
Right.
And I played well, I defended well. Because that's one thing about me, man. I was never a guy that just wanted to score. I always wanted to spearhead the defense. I always wanted to make sure people got the ball when they needed it. And one day I was in the pro-am and the guy said, "Whiteside, how come you ain't shooting that?" I said, "Man, he was open." He said, "But you was open first." And he said, "I'll tell you another thing." And this little guy, man, looked like a drunk behind the bench. He said, "I'll tell you another thing. Why you keep playing with him?" I said, "What do you mean?" This is like Kennedy King. And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Why you keep playing with the ball?" He said, "Cook him and go by him. Just quit playing with him." And from then on, my game started to go to the top.
And you don't know who this guy was?
Do not know who this guy was.
He said he was a drunk.
Did not know who this guy was to this day.
He was a drunk, man.
No. ain't no drunk guy gonna talk like that. He know the game.
Now, some of them know, they weren't always drunks, though, Liv. The best killers, man.
I tell you what, Liv, I beg and differ, because we used to go up to Ogden Park at about 11 at night, and those guys used to get off a second shift, and you thought you was going to have an easy game.
Right.
And they were playing in overalls and Timberland boots.
Yeah.
Stacey Adams.
Your game, boy, you was in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
we used
big
to have
ball.
some great games until the police rolled through the middle of the court and told us we had to go home.
Yeah. But Donald, you got to also think about this, man. You had a chip on your shoulder. You had to have that chip on your shoulder because of where you landed. Like you went from, Northern Illinois. You might be either the all-time leading scorer or at least top 5.
No, probably about 10. Probably about in the top 20.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you
they
did
got some good scores. They got some great scores there since me.
Right.
Yeah. A couple of them I recruited when I went back there to coach, but they got some good scores there.
Okay.
Yeah. And they got a kid there right now that's probably gonna go pro named Eugene Jermaine. He is a beast.
So you stay in contact with the school still? You
go back there and watch a game every year.
Okay.
Every year. Yeah, I got to get back and see a Leo game and a Northern game.
Okay. They just recruited my godson, Caleb.
Okay.
He a guard from Bolingbrook. He play like Kyrie. You gonna see him this year?
Oh yeah. Well, you should.
Bob, you might not be putting him out there talking about he play like no Kyrie Irving, man, and then he looked like
he play like Tyree.
Right. I say, man, it's only one problem with Northern, man. Every time Northern has been successful, man, they got an influx of people from Chicago. I don't know how you can work at Northern and not recruit Chicago.
Exactly.
And you got the coaches going in here saying we don't need to recruit Chicago. I'll never understand that.
Right.
They got another kid from Bolingbrook there this year, 2019. What's that boy named? Widebody. He played good as a freshman. Oh, they've been definitely recruiting Chicago. Yeah. If you can't get Simeon and King out here, all those schools. Bolingbrook is like the backyard. It's like the suburban Simeon, man. Bolingbrook High School.
With the violence in Chicago, people are being pushed to the suburbs.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to get that call that something happened to their child.
No.
So a lot of people being pushed to the Elgins and the Bolingbrookes and the Aurora. And there's some tough kids out there. And then with the influx of Summer League and AAU, these kids are playing big games all summer long.
All over though.
All summer long, get some of the best competition in the country. So they're not afraid of anything anymore. Guys guys used to come out of the city and nobody wanted to play them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now these kids, they look forward to it.
Man, there's a kid in the league got a Bolingbrook. Ben, he went to SMU and he played, and then Ben Simmons, he's in the league right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
Yep, Ben
Okay.
Moore. His name is Ben Moore.
Okay.
Ben Moore. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and then Prentice just played for Iowa State, so they get kids. They got a lot of kids, man. But
Yes.
but Northern is definitely over here in Bolingbrook because it's right up the street.
Mm-hmm.
But but are they winning?
Oh yeah, they win. They
Northern,
do
I
well
tell you
every
what,
year.
Northern
Every
had a pretty decent year. Schedule wasn't that tough, but this kid Jermaine is averaging about. He's probably the leading scorer now in Northern history. You know what I mean? Because Kenny Battle only went there for like a year or two.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
he was in the top 20. But this
That's
kid,
crazy.
this kid, I'm telling you, this kid puts it down, man. He's athletic. He's bow-legged. Look him up. I swear, look him up. This kid is a beast.
I'm gonna check
He's
him
got
out.
that
I
work ethic.
watch Northern.
He can finish above the rim, and he can attack the rim. He just learning how to shoot, and now he can shoot the ball. I just saw a video the other day of him playing in an outdoor tournament against grown men, man, doing his thing. He's ridiculous.
You don't even see the little grown men do it.
Yeah, and he's fearless. I
So
tell you what, every year the league, the school that comes out of the MAC.
So what advice do you give Chris, man? Like when you talk to your nephew, huh?
What advice?
When you're talking to your nephew, what kind of advice are you giving him? Because you've been there, you've been in the league. What kind of advice are you giving him?
I give him the same advice that I gave him since he was playing for me in travel basketball. I said, man, you guys are not from where we are. You're not from Texas. You're from Chicago. There's a certain chip that you got to have on your shoulder. You got to play. I said, those guys play like they have everything to lose. That's how you got to play. Because a lot of those guys, if something doesn't get them out of there, they trap. That's how you got to play. Right. You got to play like you're trying to you playing for your life. And that's what I told them when we played those guys at Leo. I said, that's why they play like that. Because they're playing for their life. You got to play that same way. You got to have that same mentality. And I always told Chris, just like I told my son, you guys have the tool to do. It's nothing that you guys can't do. We taught you everything. It's nothing you guys can't do. And you guys are here giving 10% on this court of what you can do. That guy can't guard you. That guy you settling for 30-footers. Man, take that guy and put him in the basket. And I've always told Chris, man, you got all the tools in the world. It's like you're in the trenches with your guns and your cannons and your grenades, but you're scared to stick your head out. Man, you got all the weapons you need to do whatever you want. And this year, he showed that. He showed that. Yeah, I mean, with a new coach, he was learning a new system. But man, when he kicked it into gear, and that coach showed he believed in him, he saw that coach believed in him. Man, it was like, thank you. It was like, thank you.
Can I rewind back to D Whiteside real quick though, Liv, on something though? I was looking at your bio and your Wikipedia. I was going through it, and your path to get to the league, you took a route, man. So and I know Liv talked about you making it to the league. So when you finally got there, after all of that you went through, you had them shoes on. What was that feeling like?
That. I'm gonna tell you, man. I don't know if I got to the league to have a career or just to show people I can make it.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I was playing at Northern, especially the freshman year, they told the coach, "Y'all wasted a scholarship."
No.
They told the coach, and the coach later told me they told him that they wasted a scholarship. So I always had a chip on my shoulder. I've always been trying to prove myself, show people. I ain't gonna lie. Fitz, when Fitz recruited me, Fitz didn't really recruit me. He liked me, but I wouldn't show up for the summer league games because I like playing outside too much.
Mm-hmm.
So Fitz was like, "You're not gonna play for me." When I was in 8th grade, he said, "You'll never play for me." So I always had a chip on my shoulder. And in fact, me and my best friend John Hamilton, we were going to De La Salle. And the night before the test, he called me and said, "Man, I'm going to Leo." I said, "Well, I'm going to Leo too." And we went and took the test in Leo. And he was a fantastic football player, and I was a basketball player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, man, I always had a chip on my shoulder. So when I was leaving, we was leaving Northern. Me and Stacy were rated one of the most underrated backcourts in the country as sophomores. But when I was leaving Northern, we had gotten contacted by the Clippers, and I think they were the Washington Bullets back then. But I didn't feel like I was ready, so I took my talents overseas and tried to develop my game a little bit more. And the first place I went was down to Australia, and I tried out with two top league teams, and neither one of them took me. They took two guys that had been cut from the NBA, so I ended up going to the second division, and I went down there, and after three preseason games or 3 regular season games, I was averaging 41 a game, and they called me back up. They called me back up to the top league, and I played 2 years with the Hobart Tassie Devils.
Wow.
Yeah, and then of course from there I went to Venezuela, played a couple of months in Venezuela. Then I went to Latvia, and then I went to teach at Leo.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I was at Leo, and I was coaching at Leo, and man, it was kind of burned out, to be honest. But those guys, man, they just re-inspired me, man. Players I coached, man, T. West, JR, all those guys, man, Brian, they just re-inspired me, and I would practice with them. Right. You know.
So wait, Donald. So you gave it up? You was done with it?
Yeah, man. It was kind of burning out, man, and I was giving up. And I taught for a year. I coached for a year. I had keys to the gym, so I would go there and practice at night. And I would actually open up the gym on Sunday nights for Foot Locker workers, and they would come from all across the city and come and play in the gym on Sunday nights. It was great. Because my boy Chuck worked at Foot Locker. He used to have a ball, and I kind of got rejuvenated. And then after that first year, my fiance at the time, who later became my wife, I told her I still had the itch, and she said, "Well, if you want to go play, go ahead, and I'll support you." And that's when I went to the summer league and had a great summer league, and got looked at, got the workout. And then when I finally got there. When I got to the camp, this is the best story, okay?
Tell it.
All right, so Larry sees me at Summer League. He lets Isaiah know. All right? I think that's the
end.
And
Larry is Isaiah's brother.
Isaiah's brother, Larry Thomas. So I think that's the end of it. Because Larry asked me after the game, "You think you can play in the league?" I said, "Man, just put me out there and I'll show you." And I thought that was it. So I'm at home, going about my business. Everything is regular. I get a call. I go to the phone. I said, "Hello?" He's like, "Is it Donald Whiteside?" I said, "Yeah." I was like, "Who's this?" He's like, this Zeke, this Tuss. I was like, "Who?" "It's me, Isaiah Thomas." I was like, "Oh, what's up?" He's like, "Man, I've been hearing good things about you, man. I want to bring you out here for a workout." I said, "Cool." I said, "All right." He said, I'm gonna put some things together, and I'm gonna call you back in a couple of weeks, and we're gonna get you out there. So sure enough, a couple of weeks later, Willie said, "Hey, they want you to go up there and work out." So I went up there to work out. Was hardly anybody there. So they had me working out, playing 1-on-1 and 3-on-3. And it was BJ
Tyler.
BJ Tyler.
Yep, from Texas.
Yep. BJ Tyler, Harold Miner. And I was a Harold Miner fan.
Right.
But Isaiah made us play 1-on-1. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this Harold Miner, this is going to be tough. But it turned out not to be that tough. Played to like 5 or 3, and I won. And I was like, I walked away, and I said, that was Harold Miner. And then Isaiah played me like 1-on-1. And I was like, okay, cool. So, make a long story short, I ended up coming back. He put me through a couple of workouts. I ended up coming back. I went back to teaching at Leo. And one night I was going to grade some papers, and he was like, "Hey man, I need you to report to Toronto tomorrow. Got a flight for you at this time." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I called the principal, and I called the dean, and I called the head coach, Tony Rapple. I let him know that I was I was going to Toronto for 2 weeks, you know, and then I'll be back. They was like, okay. So I got on the flight. I went there, and as soon as we got there, we got ready. We hopped on the bus to go to training camp. Okay, so we go into training camp, and it was funny because we got to this place. We were staying in this hotel. We went over to the gym. They was having media day and all that stuff, right? Everybody getting pictures taken care of. You know, Carlos, Damon Stoudemire, Doug Chris, they all getting their picture taken and all that stuff. And I was just watching and everything. So the next day, later that day, we came back to the gym, and I walked in the room, and everybody was filling out these papers. And it was crazy because, like, Grunwald walked me in, and everybody looked up, and then they looked down like, oh, he ain't nobody. They just looked down. So I was like, okay. And I take all that stuff, and I play on it. I put it in the back of my mind, right? So the next day, it was time to play. It was time to practice, trying to work out. And so the first day, morning session, because they was having 2 a days, the morning session, they put us in a zigzag drill. And Doug Christie was guarding me, you know. And, you know, you go zigzag, then the half court is one-on-one.
One-on-one, right.
So I scored a couple of times on a couple of people, and it kind of raised the eyebrow, but nothing special, you know. Then we played 3-on-3, and somebody dished me the ball. I hit a 3. Somebody dished me the ball in another case. I went up and under, rolled it off the glass. People like, okay, all right. But it still went up. Because the guard there was Stoudemire, B.J. Tyler, Corey Gaines, and Dwayne Cooper. Wow. Those are the other guards I had to go up against. And so then they set this other drill, and it was like a 2-on-2 drill. And it was me and Hubert Davis against, they said, take the ball and give it to whoever you want to guard. So I gave it to Stoudemire because I know that's what I'm going to be measured up against, so I want to go against
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
So we go, it's 2-on-2, full court. So they start with the ball, and Damon started with the ball. He was a little lackadaisical with it, a little casual with it. So I tapped it away and dove on it. I jumped, and Hubert Davis ran over. I threw it to him. He faked like he was going to shoot 3, got dug off his feet, penetrated, kicked it to me. I splashed a 3. And everybody on the sideline started looking around like who is this dude? You know? So we go back for lunch. We go back for lunch, and we come back for the evening session. We go through a couple of drills, and then we did this knockout drill. And this is where they started to respect me. So the big men were at one end, the guards and the wings were at the other end. So we started playing knockout. And, you know, we play defense. If you stop and you get the ball, you play offense. Right. So we played. I got the ball the first time. I scored. I missed the next one. Okay, so somebody else. I had to wait till I came back around. I come back around. I play defense. I get the ball. Now, keep in mind, all those guards I just made, Doug Christie, Walt Williams, all them down there too. Okay? So I get the ball, and boom, I blow by the first person, lay it up. Boom, I hesitate, pull, hit the second person. Boom, I take a dribble, reverse, go the other way, lay it up with the left hand. Before I knew it, okay, I had gone through the line twice.
That's what I'm talking about.
I had gone through the line twice, and the big guys weren't even down there practicing anymore. They were standing at half court watching me.
Wow.
Larry Thomas was sitting over there with his arms folded, doing like this with a big smirk on his face.
Right.
Okay. So after that, we started playing 5-on-5, scrimmaging and stuff. And because I was playing so well, they put me as a point guard on the second team and to go against Damon. So I was playing real well against Damon. And I was playing pretty good defense, so I thought.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm walking through the hallway in between workouts one day, and Isaiah stops me. And I say, hey, what's up? He was like, first of all, young fella, I want to tell you, man, you're from Chicago. You're making me proud. You're doing this, you're doing that. I was like, oh, okay. What's good? So what's happening? He was like, but I just want you to understand. Damon is the franchise. He's the man. And y'all need to take it easy on him because he can cut you.
What?
And I was like, oh, I said, man, I mean, I'm just playing hard, this, that, and the other. He's like, okay, but you just take it easy on him because, he could cut you. So I was like, okay, cool.
What?
So I started walking back through the hallways and I ran into Dame. I said, Dame, what's up, man? I just want to know, man, is there a problem, man? Am I doing something wrong, man? And, I'm just trying to make the team. He's like, oh, Whiteside, it's not you, man. It's not you. It's some other dudes, man. They hacking me. They throwing me to the ground, this, that, and the other. I was like, okay, cool, man. I just want you to know, man, I'm here just to make the team. Right. The crazy thing is, I kept playing the way I was playing. Next thing you know, hey, Don, inside stuff here. They want to do an interview with you. I'm like, wow, real? So I do an interview with inside stuff. I still don't even know if I made the team. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So the last night of training camp, we didn't play scrimmages, man. I done played well against, Atlanta and all these other other teams, man. And I still ain't got no call to say whether I made the team. So I was in my hotel room the night before the rosters was dropped. And my coach Spitz called me. And I was asleep. I picked up the phone. It was kind of like early evening. I was asleep. I had the lights out, the curtains closed. And he was like, hey, Don, what's going on? I said, what's going on? How you doing? He's like, but congratulations. I was like, for what? He's like, you don't know? I said, no. He's like, you made the team.
Wow, you didn't even know?
That's just how it went.
Wow, that's crazy.
Good thing you went to Damon and kind of like, what's up, dog? I just want to make the team, right?
That was wild, bro.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, but that's also a damn good story that you went in there and actually laid it all out. You was like, I don't care. Yeah, y'all looking at me strange, but you know who I am when I'm finished with you.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing about the phone call. When Isaiah called me, he told me one thing. He told me, he said, I think the rookie minimum was about 270 or 250 then, or 300,000, something like that. He said, I want you to act like I'm trying to give you 270,000 and they trying to take away from you. I said, enough said.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Bob said, hell yeah.
And keep in mind, I'm teaching at Leo and I'm netting 28,000 every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks after tax, I'm getting 800. And I went from making 800 to every 2 weeks to 8,000 after tax.
Oh man, I know you said bye, Leo. Yeah,
I called back and told them, they like, we already know. Congratulations, man. We wish you all the luck in the world. I was like, I appreciate it. It was crazy.
And Donald, when I heard that story too, man, I was happy too, like, cause I'm always happy for, especially guys from Chicago, man, when they do something, man, and make it. I'm happy, man, because it should be all about Chicago, man. When somebody is doing something great, what you guys think, man? Like, let's talk about how Chicago basketball sometimes is divided. Like Donald, you just said it earlier. You said you got to be on the west side, to get that, that toughness, right? I wonder why we just can't all be like to Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
It'll never be that way.
Because everywhere I go, the first thing people say is, what side of town you from? What side? And I always want to say, I'm from Chicago,
Right.
But people want you to say what side you represent.
Mm-hmm.
You get that a lot?
I get that a whole lot, man. And I saw it more when Derrick Rose was in high school and I was a college recruiter. And I had seen Derrick Rose, I had seen Patrick Beverly, I had seen Sharon Collins, all these guys that they were saying were better, that one was better than the other. And they asked me my opinion. And it wasn't because I was from the South Side, it was because I knew. Mm-hmm. It was like, which one do you think is better? Sharon Collins averaging 30-something points a game. Patrick Beverly averaging 20 and 30-something points a game. Which one do you think is better? I said, oh, they can score. But the person, if you ask me who ready for the league more than anybody, it's that dude over there, Simeon. Because I saw some of the stuff he did without even trying. I said, if you going to ask me who's most prepared for the league, I said, that dude right there. And it wouldn't surprise me if he goes number 1 in 2 years.
Wow.
He went number 1.
And we had his coach on yesterday, Rob, and he was telling us about Derek, his mentality. You know, he just had that win mentality. Like he didn't care if he wasn't scoring or doing whatever. He wanted to just win the basketball game. So he did whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Two brothers that played basketball ahead of him. So I mean, it didn't surprise me how good he was, but just the God-given ability was just off the chart. I mean, it was little things. It had nothing to do with his scoring or anything. It was just little things he did. Like I went out to, I forgot the name, Pontiac or somewhere to watch him play, and a Christmas tournament. And man, he gets the ball. I mean, a person gets the ball. I think Tim Flowers gets the ball out, listen to him below the free throw line. He throws a laser chest pass from free throw line to free throw line, like on the
money
for a layup without even crossing the top of the key. I was like, that's not high school stuff.
That's not
high school stuff.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just like you, Marcus, when you played, you looked like you was out there toying with us. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I was. No, but man, I just love Chicago Hoopers, man, for real. Like I get excited, man, when I'm talking about Chicago Hoopers, man, for real. Like you mentioned it, talking about Derrick Rose. I like Sharon Collins. I like Patrick Beverly. Man, I like all those guys.
And I was pulling for all those guys. I mean, I tried to recruit Patrick Beverly. I mean, I walked over to Marshall and I went over to Marshall and Lamont Bryan was over there and he said, I was like, so what, Lamont, what you got? He's like, man, I'm gonna show you something. I said, what's that? He's like, I got a guy, man. He ain't great ball handler. He ain't a great shooter. But Whiteside, he always around the ball. He a ball hawk. And I said, okay. So I go out there and I see this kid, man. And like he said, not a great dribbler with his left hand. Not taking any shots, but man, hustling, getting rebounds. Every loose ball was his. I was like, dang. So it didn't surprise me 2 years later that he's leading the state in scoring because he plays so hard. And he defended. Right. And it doesn't surprise me now that he's an NBA pro. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And at one point, the school that was on him the toughest was Toledo. And then he just blew up, went to Arkansas. You know what I mean? And then things didn't work out for him, so he went overseas, kept trying, and now look at him. You know?
Amazing, man. Amazing.
I mean, I watched these guys, man. It was unbelievable. I think a guy like, whatchamacallit should have been a pro. Sean Dockery should have been a pro.
We was just talking about him the other day, man.
Been a pro. I watched him and Will Bynum go at it. I was like, man, this is ridiculous. These guys, man, are just on another level. But I go back to the Angel Rodriguez and the, Luke Rogers and the Darren McKinstry. I watch these kids, man, and I'm like, man, these kids on another level. But just like I tell people, and I got a young guy that I call my nephew, man, named Jake Anderson, man. Was on the Bulls twice, but didn't stay on the roster. Should have definitely been on that roster, man. He played 3 years at Northern, then played his fifth year at Iowa State.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But then when he came out, they had that strike. So that kind of messed things up because pros were going overseas and it was hard to get jobs over there and everything. He just didn't get the same blessings and breaks that I did. But that man was every bit as talented, man. And still is. You know what I'm saying? I think he just got MVP of the Summer League last year. I mean, he's that talented, man, but some of us just don't get those breaks or those blessings, man. I just happen to be in the right place at the right time. And that hard work meant opportunity. That's your luck for you.
It's real.
But Sean, before we let you guys go, I want Sean to talk a little bit about Chris and how he made that decision. I know you guys, he went to UCLA and saw the palm trees and the nice weather, but it's got to be some more to that, to make that decision to commit to UCLA without going to any other school. So, what was the conversation like, and what did you guys look for in a school when he made that decision?
Well, for us, my wife and I always told him it's your decision because it's your life, but we do have veto power to some schools. And I'm not going to name what school I threw our veto power to. But one of the biggest things for Chris, and Don could attest to him this because he coached him for 3 years. Chris can dominate a game, but he doesn't want to do that unless he has to. He's more of a facilitator, want to bring everybody in. That's how he and I differ because my attitude. But he wants to facilitate and all that. He wants to be at the top of the floor and he wants the ball to move. He wants the right play to be made. Okay. And when we went to visit UCLA, that was the night they were playing Oregon. And it was a tight game throughout the whole thing. You had Lonzo Ball there. I think TJ Leaf was still there, and Bryce Alford was there, and Aaron Holiday, who we got close with their family, he was there coming off the bench because Lonzo was there. But the ball moved. It didn't stick with any one person. Okay. And Chris loved that, because, he can put up 30 points. But why? If I can get my teammates to do this and, I'm filling up the sheets, I'm filling up every category. Why have 40 points and only 2 rebounds and 3 assists when I could have 25 points and doubles in other categories? That's his mentality. So when he saw that, he was like, I want to do this. And then he got if you come in and you work hard, you can, nobody's going to say you're going to start, but you can get some significant minutes, and that's what Chris was about. He said, because if I'm not going to get minutes, you're going to redshirt me and I can go back to post-grad. His thing was playing. And then also the draw of, the SAC league where all the pros come during the summer. That was big for him. So I get to play against these guys and, see how I measure up against them before I actually go into the league. So that was big for him. And then the first time he decided to go there, I thought it was pretty quick, but that's your decision. You want to go? We're going to support you the whole 9. And when that summer he went there and played against some big name people and they lost the game. He sat on the sideline for an hour and a half and got up and left. And I asked him, why'd you leave? He said, I didn't come to watch them. I want to play them. And his attitude was like, I'm not coming here to watch. I can watch at home. I can watch video games. I can watch tape. I want to play against them. And that's when I knew, okay, his attitude is clicking. He's starting to see it. But that season, that freshman year didn't turn out the way he wanted it to. And to his credit, he never called my wife or I and said, I want to transfer. He never said that. And to this day, I feel so proud as a dad that it's not, everything's no longer coming my way. I want to go somewhere else. He never said that. And, I was so happy that he did that. And then when they brought in Cronin, a no nonsense guy, I was, okay, I'm liking this because perfect for him. Because when Don coached him, Don would say, Sean, I'm tough. I said, bruh, you his uncle. You can't do nothing to him that I ain't already done 3 times. Right. Handle your business. Handle your business. Treat him like he is DJ, your son. I'll turn my back or walk out the gym, but handle your business. So Chris, I always taught him, hear the message, not the color of the message from the coach. All that profanity is nothing, dude. Just hear the message. So he's one of those, he didn't grow up in Chicago, but being around his uncle, being around me, being around my best friend, I ain't gonna sugarcoat anything for you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you wanna hear what you wanna hear, go to your mom. You wanna hear what you need to hear, come to me, talk to your uncle, talk to Brian, and that's where he's at right now. He knows I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's what he liked, a coach that was upfront with him, told him, because he set him down in Hawaii. He had him come off the bench. And I told him the night before, you keep playing like you're playing, you're gonna come off the bench. It's like, you tripping, Dad? Okay. And the next day at halftime, he was on the bench. And, I was gonna text Cronin, but I was, no, I'm gonna stay out of it. But, That's when he got slapped in the face. It's like, oh, I got to do what I got to do. And that's when it clicked. This coach cares about me. This coach wants the best from me. And that's when it clicked, and he took off from there. So just being in the situation where, people are making the right plays, I can go score. I could take my man, but if I can get you involved, that's what he wants to do, and he grew up watching tapes of you before, he even knew that I could get in contact with you. His person that he loves is Scottie Pippen and Penny Hardaway and Tracy McGrady. So that's his game. That's his game right now. So, he's out there developing. He's just got to get stronger. He's got to get that Chicago mentality. So it's coming, but I don't know how quickly it's going to get here.
Hey, I just want to hop in real quick. How are you still alive telling them if he want to hear what his mama want to hear something from his mama?
Because she knows.
Because the mama going to tell her what they want to hear. I just want to know how he's still alive.
Hey, believe it or not, my sister got a tough side. She played ball at Whitney Young, of course, till EC Hill took over, and she was like, you know what? I can't share the spotlight with that. And she at Whitney Young. And
I love that.
Yeah, she tough. It was a time in my life where she was able to beat me, and it frustrated the mess out of me. she's 2 years younger, but she grew faster than I did.
Wow.
So I was always fighting the uphill battle.
But you know what, Donald and Sean, you and your wife, y'all did a great job with him. You guys planted the seeds, in him. So when for this moment, in those difficult times that he had, he knew what to go. He knew what was going to happen. He knew how to get through those situations because you guys taught him at a young age. So big ups to you guys for doing that, man. I had a father that did the same thing to me. He never came to fight my battles for me. He was like, you know what? You made that decision. You got to figure it out, and I understand that. And I think you guys did a great job with Chris on that as well because look at him. He's mature. He's shot up. He's doing his thing, man. He's got an opportunity to make some money doing this, playing the game of basketball. Make him, help him, Donald, understand the business side of it, the game of basketball in the NBA. You might fall in love with certain teams and you think they care about you. The next thing you know, you trade it and you're like, what's going on? So make sure you show him the business side of it too. But I think he's definitely going to be on the right track, man, to do a lot of great things in the NBA because that's what the NBA is all about. I wish it was like that when I was playing, man, letting the big guys bring the ball up and do all that. So he's perfect. He's going to be in a good situation, man, to do his thing.
Well, I want to take this time to thank you, bro, because I reached out to you a few times. You was always there to help with the conversation. You, Don, Brian, about the recruiting part, because I can go in father mode real quick and be real protective, but it was certain things about that process I didn't know. And one thing that stood out to me when you said, if your son go to the bathroom when y'all at some big tournament, go in there with him because somebody gonna follow him in there. And, my wife and I was like, really? But we started to see it. Started to see it, and I had to tell one guy who was trying to recruit him to his team. Somehow he got his number and called him at like 11:30 at night. And I called the dude when I found out maybe about 12:15 at night. You calling me late. You called my son. Don't ever call his number again, bro. I'm just trying to, I mean any disrespect. That was completely disrespectful. It was. Don't call him again. And I don't mean no disrespect, but I'm gonna protect my kid no matter what. But I appreciate Don. Know I appreciate brother-in-law, but I want to appreciate you, bro, for everything you've done and the phone calls you've had with Chris. He remembers them. Just know that he remembers them, bro. And he started watching tape for you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so it's all love, Chicago love, bro.
That's right, man. Yeah. Chicago, baby. We in the building, man. Man, Donald, man, and Sean, man, you guys, we really let y'all do y'all thing, man. And I like that because, Donald, I think you really let people know what you were all about. Some people probably didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know that you went to all those countries. I didn't even know you went back to teaching in, high school. So, man.
Sure did, man. I wouldn't take one thing I did, man. But like I said, man, I think I just set out to prove that I could do it because so many people told me I couldn't.
Right. Right. So before we go
Beautiful.
ahead and drop some knowledge, man, to these shorties out there in Chicago, man. You can
Man,
start with both of you guys too. Both of you guys can do.
I just pray for Chicago, man, and we could just corral these young guys, man, and get just some type of order, man, because I'm hearing about babies dying and how many people getting shot every weekend, man. Some people got to start telling us something. I don't know, man, but we got to do something, man, because we got a president, man, that's trying to send an army in there, man, and start a war with our people, bro. So we got to do something, man. We got to fix the problem ourselves, man.
Okay. Sean?
Well, for me, I work with kids, and I've always told our kids, you know what I'm saying, that you're already born with 2 obstacles in front of you. Don't put more obstacles in front of you by doing something criminal or not going to school. They can't take your education away from you. So go ahead and get that. And if it's through basketball or any other sport, use that sport to get you where you want to go. You know, because once you can't play no more, they're going to forget your name and those phone calls are going to stop coming. And we've got to, I don't know what can be done for Chicago with all the shooting at a funeral yesterday, which still astounds me. But we're hurting. And, you know, if you get your education, you can get out of there, because that was my thing. You know, I grew up with my mom and we went to a private school, but my dad was just cutting the check for that education. But my thing was to get out of there. And I wasn't going to do it athletically. So I was in the books, you know, and people called me a nerd. I said, thank you. Back then it wasn't a badge of honor, but that's how I took it. I'm getting out of here. You know, I'm getting out of here. I'm not living in Lyle and all those other suburbs. I'm on the south side of Chicago fighting out of here every day. And I'm gonna get out of here, you know, and I'm not that I didn't turn it back and, you know, go back to trying to help people, but, you know, it's help needed all over here. But my wife and I moved because of the cold weather and because of the crime, and I didn't want my kids a part of that. But it did teach me who I am and made me resilient, you know. So somebody can tell me I can't do something. Guess what? I'm about to get it done, and I'm gonna let you know when it is done, you know.
Right.
So
Oh man. So man, we appreciate you guys coming on, man. And Bob, you want to add something?
Hey, man, just thanks for letting me be a part of it yet again, man. And down on Whiteside, nice chopping it up with you, Sean. Nice meeting you, man. You got the killer son of UCLA. Just get us some tickets.
that go without saying, bro. That go without saying.
I take the nosebleed. They bring beer up there.
Right next to live, you get in anywhere you gotta go, bro.
That's right. I got you,
Much
man.
love, fellas. Much love.
I got you, man. I appreciate the time, man. I really do, and I appreciate the love y'all showing Chicago and everybody. So I've been watching, you know, every now and then when I get an opportunity, but I appreciate you guys.
All right, appreciate it.
Bless y'all guys, man. Right. Stay safe out there, man.
Hey, keep doing it. You guys play well off each other, man. Look like a backcourt out there.
All right. Rob don't pass the ball that much though.
My hands don't do this. Do this.
All right, man, guys. I love you guys, man. Be safe, all right?
You too, bro. Lay on.
All right, fellas.
All right, peace. Man, Rob, another good one, man. Another good one.
Man. Yeah, buddy.
Donald, man, and his man and his family coming on doing their thing. Man, I was just listening, man. I was like listening to Donald drop it, man, how it all went down, you know. When he said Larry, I don't know if you knew who Larry was, but I knew who Larry was because I met Larry, you know, a while back. I knew that was Isaiah's brother. Real cool. Yeah, real cool dude, man.
Was he the police officer?
I don't know if he was a police officer or not.
Okay.
But I know Isaiah gave him a job, you know, with the Toronto Raptors, you know.
That's good, man.
But he's a good dude, man. And just hearing stories, man, that's what it's all about.
That's what all ball Chicago.
You know, see how he just broke, you know, down and just shared his whole story. Man, dude.
You remember
tight,
on
man.
Sundays they had this show that used to come on Channel 9. This white guy used to sit in there with his smoking jacket on. You knew it was Sunday. And he'll open up the book and he'll start reading to you. And then it'll go to the actual show. That's what all ball is about, man.
Oh, man. Hey, Bob, make sure we give it the shouts out, man, on
Oh man, shout out to Sean Sierra for tuning in. Mason Storm, Reggie Williams, Corey Stevens said, "Liv, get rid of that Cowboys hat, man."
Hey, I did this, man, because I knew Donald was in Dallas, man. So I said, I put this cowboy hat on for my man, make him feel, I know he a Bear fan, but I'm a Cowboy fan for real. So I know we ain't been doing
Who
nothing
wouldn't
now,
be
but
with
I
them
am
cheerleaders they got? Let's
a,
get
nah.
Randall McFarlane say what's up. He watching.
Man,
We
tell
got
Randall, man. Give us. I can tell Randall. Shoot, Randall, man. We need to get the Proviso East crew, man. I'm trying to get the Migos on, man, but I can't get in tune with no one, man. So let's get get them boys on here, man. The Migos from Proviso
that's what's up.
East, them Pirates. I need them.
Yeah, man. We got to get him, man.
Yeah, who else?
You know what? I got multiple watch parties going on here. So, but to
Hmm,
all the people who tuning in, man, thank y'all for watching.
definitely.
All ball, appreciate all y'all. You feel me? We need it, man. Keep watching the show. Keep subscribing, man. We looking for sponsors. I'm gonna be dropping a new product. I ain't gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna be dropping that, man, probably next week to let y'all know we got a new social distance opportunity for coaches, teachers, everything. So I'm with the statue, man.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Big shout out again to Donald Whiteside and his family, Sean Smith coming on, dropping it, sharing something about his nephew and his son. We talking about UCLA and how he made his decision, man. All that was great. And man, and trying to give back to Chicago, man, because that's what we all about, Chicago. And man, we need to please put the guns down. We're killing innocent people, senseless violence. Stop it, please. Man, this killing,
Another way,
man, is
y'all.
not right. It's not right, man.
I was watching the press conference real quick. I won't talk long. We got a new superintendent, and he came with the numbers. It's 117,000 documented gang members on the streets of Chicago, brother. 117,000. They can't control that. It's no way
117,000 game bang.
on the streets of Chicago. They say documented.
But you know what though, Bob? How many you think was on the streets back in the 80s?
It was probably about that many.
That's what I'm saying. So what they had more so then was more structure. You had leaders.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not saying gang banging is right, but you had organized leaderships. You do this, you step out of line, you get a punk in it. You getting whooped.
Right. You
Now you got 10, 20 in a gang. You got 10, 20 over here in the gang. You got in different neighborhoods and they all over.
That's what they
And they
said.
fight amongst each other for no reason.
They said 117,000 and 100 different sets, broken
Yeah,
down to 50 different people. He
yeah,
said it's all based on retaliation. You shoot me, I shoot you.
I
You shoot
know.
me, I shoot you. You shoot me, I shoot you. You shoot me, I shoot you. He's saying it's just ongoing.
Yeah. And what is it? And what is it really accomplishing? That's what makes me upset. Like, what is it accomplishing? That you taking someone else's life because they said something or did something wrong
But it's just not a
or
Chicago
said
issue
something
though.
about your clique or whatever it may be.
It's not a Chicago issue. It's
Yeah.
actually a nationwide issue, man. There's a lot of that going on. And if like when we was growing up, it wasn't gunplay, it was the drug game that was killing us in the hood. We was wondering if once we got through that, we'll be okay. Remember, cocaine was in the hood. It was crack cocaine. It was killing us in the hood. And it was in our music. That's all we talking about was balling. You had Scarface. Now, listen to their music. All they talk about is 60-shot Glocks, and it's all in their music, man.
And
And it's
popping
all fed
pills.
to us. It's fed to us subliminally, and you get to hearing that stuff. So if we want to control that, we have to control the music. I just think so.
But you know what though, Bob? I think they want that like that. I'm talking about the other side. They they want it like that because they could easily stop the music and say, you know what, no more music, because we own the record labels, and but now you got rappers and everybody going independent and starting their own thing and doing, getting their music out there. But man, whatever happened to parents saying, you know what, man, I can't have you listening to this, music, and it's not right for the mind. If you got your headphones on and you constantly listening to somebody bang bang shoot 'em up, bang bang shoot 'em up, it's gonna actually sink into your mind one day, and and you're gonna start doing some crazy things, man. Whatever happened to house music, man?
Yeah,
Listen to some Chicago house music, man. We
yeah,
missing it. We
yeah. But we're gonna bring it back because, man, just
missing it,
like
man.
I,
Especially our younger generation. I think they need.
I'm gonna say this,
Go
and this
ahead.
is the last thing I gotta say, big guy. Just like we got through the crack epidemic, just like we got through the gang banging in the hood and all that with the physicality, the gun thing is gonna come to an end. It's gonna be something else though, but the guns are gonna come to an end. And watch what I tell you, because it's always something. It's always something. So putting that out there, man. You know
I
what
hope
time it
it's
is for me. The alarm going off of my clock, big fella.
man. I hope you were right, and I hope it's something fun and exciting, that's gonna be next, for these our young generation, man. But
Yep.
we out, man, and
Yep. All Ball
bigger
Chicago
roll.
Bleed Podcast Network. I'm your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed. I got the legend, the NBA veteran, the McDonald All-American, your host, Marcus Liberty. What you finna be on?
Man, it's time for me to unlace the shoes. I holla.
Peace.
Peace, everybody, everybody.